their attitude definitely will get changed. So what are this? What we can go? What are this functions of attitude? We know that the attitudes are formed through various social, cultural, political, economical, religious factors. Different factors. But what are the possible functions of attitude? So like social psychologists, sociologists, all those people have discussed and identified a couple of functions of these attitudes, social attitudes. The first one we can put it into a utilitarian function. The first one is not first one. We can take it as a one function as function of attitude as utilitarian function. So what utilitarian function means? Attitudes can serve a utilitarian function by helping individuals to achieve rewards or avoid punishment. Okay, attitudes can serve a utilitarian function by helping individuals to achieve rewards or avoid punishment. For example, an individual may have a positive attitude towards studying because it helps them get good grades and avoid negative consequences. That's a utilitarian function, utilization. So that is one function of attitude. Another, we can say it's a social adjustive function. So what social adjustive functions means? Social adjustive functions, it's like basically helping individuals conform to social norms and expectations, basically. So they will adjust by uh, identifying and understanding the social, unwritten social norms and rules and regulations, and they will accommodate, they will adjust themselves to be within that. We call it conformity. So that we call social adjustive function. For example, and sorry, I think someone's mic is open. I think Supriya's mic is open. Yeah, thank you. So an example for social adjustive function is an individual may adopt a positive attitude towards wearing formal clothing to fit in with the dress code of their workplace. Uh, can you mute, Priya? Yeah, thank you. So the another function of attitude is ego defensive function. So ego defensive function is actually that particular function of attitude protect individuals from unpleasant emotions and maintaining their self-esteem. Like, for example, an individual may have a negative attitude towards criticism to protect their self-esteem and avoid feeling hurt. Got it. So it's a like ego defense function. We can like there are a lot of like attitude, lot of functions of attitude. These are like just some couple of functions. The another one is knowledge function, which attitudes can serve knowledge function by helping individuals understand and organize information about the world. For example, an individual may have a positive attitude towards science because they believe it provides a rational and systematic approach to understanding the world. So the people who may have a kind of attitude towards religion, maybe like they feel very happy, very relaxed, and they feel that some like Almighty is there, or like someone that they can rely on. So like basically these are attitudes are basically to like to function a person smoothly without any interruption, without any uh, problems. Not about problems. It's about like identifying problems or we won't be able to remove problems. We won't be able to do anything. But what we can do is we can shape ourselves to deal with the problem. That is what they're actually doing. So another one major function of attitude, like like put forward by many psychologists, value expressive function. So it is basically by expressing an individual's values and identity. For example, an individual may have a positive attitude towards environmental conservation to express their values of sustainability and responsibility. So if we look in our social world, if we look around us, we can see a lot of different kind of uh, functions of attitude. We live with attitude. Attitude is not a negative thing or a bad thing. It's a skill actually. It's a psychological skill, a social skill basically. We learn that skill. That's why we are social animals. We need that skill till for any kind of social progresses and to avoid any kind of social issues. So these are the major, some of the major functions of attitude. Okay. Am I clear till now?
Yes, sir.
No question, nothing, right? Can I go forward because I'm going to the theories of attitude change. Till now, I think the concepts and everything regarding the attitude is clear. Can I go to the next session?
Sir, did we cover formation of attitudes?
Formation of attitude basically it's like there is no particular theory or any kind of things in the formation of attitude. Basically, the attitudes all formed through the socialization of personal experiences or the objective knowledge which is existing outside, which is culture, media, and other things. So these are the major agencies that forms attitude. Yeah. So in that way, that we covered formation of attitude. Am I clear? Any response from anyone? Someone?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So now we can discuss about the theories, the some of the major theories in attitude change. What are the change? Like how attitudes change. So we know how attitudes are forming that through one's own personal experiences, socialization process, and like other external factors like social media or whatever. But how these things change. Okay. So we said that attitudes are a dynamic process that can be changed from one to another. How this thing change? It won't simply change just like that. By we are saying it will change. It's a complex psychological process. The change of attitude of a person. It's a very complex process. So many psychologists have tried to identify or understand how this attitudes are changed because attitudes are very much hardcore in-depth uh, psychological processes. It's not easy to change actually. That is why we are having a lot of issues in our existing world because of many people's attitude. And even though we are having a lot of informations and facts and evidence to change that particular attitude of a group of people, still we are not able to change that because the attitude is that much powerful psychological process. So how it can be changed or how it is, how what are the possible way that an attitude can be changed? The one major famous theory is called Festinger's cognitive dissonance theory. Okay, it's a very famous one. Festinger's cognitive dissonance theory. Cognitive dissonance theory. So this is basically a person possess a particular kind of attitude towards an object or a person or an idea, and the current experience that the person is going through is giving something new information which is contradicting the existing idea. So the person is processing new information at a time, which is existing attitude and the new information which created a different kind of attitude about the same object or an idea or a person. So there will be a conflict between these two process, the existing attitude and the new attitude that is created by their experience. So this conflict will create a kind of stress or what? A kind of it will put the person into a turmoil. So to avoid that, the person either will accept the existing attitude or the person will reject the existing attitude and they will take the new one. So this is one way the attitude change, the cognitive dissonance theory. So if the person and we can't say that changing existing one and taking the new one is always healthy and like removing the new one and keeping the existing one is healthy. No, we can't say that. We have to look into the context. In that particular context, what that person is supposed to do, whether the person have to remove. So in the context of slavery, we have to remove the existing context and we have to incorporate the new attitude. So we remove the concept of slavery from our culture. So like that. But in certain situation, we have to keep certain things like child marriage. So child marriage was existing as a positive attitude with a positive attitude. So we have to remove that attitude and we have to place with a new attitude that it is not good. So that happened. So the behavior of society changed, the behavior of the nation changed. So through changing attitude, we can change the whole nation. That is the basic thing. So the cognitive dissonance is one approach, one theory that is explaining how a person's attitude can be changed. And the another theory is Heider's balance theory. Heider's balance theory. So this is basically again somewhat similar to Festinger's cognitive dissonance, but what here happening is it's basically about the cognitive consistency or balance among their attitudes, beliefs, and behavior. These three things. Okay. A person's attitude, belief, and behavior. These three things should be in a balance, a consistency. So we call like Herder's theory basically suggests that individuals strive for cognitive consistency or balance among their attitude, belief, and behavior. So, if there is any kind of inconsistency or imbalance between their attitude, belief, and behavior, that person or that individual will strive to put it into the balance. So, till the time that person putting these three things into balance, that person will be in a constant conflict. A person will be in a constant stress. So the person always will try to put it into balance. So, for example, um, if an individual has a positive attitude towards a political candidate, but learns that the candidate supports a policy they disagree with, they may change their attitude towards the candidate to achieve balance or consistency. Right. So it happens in our day-to-day life that life turning moments. That's actually attitude changes. So these are the two major theories that we discusses on how attitudes can be changed. And another one major theory that we can't we can't remove from attitude change theories.
Can we use the whiteboard to explain this figure? Like balance
Sorry.
theory, Addis balance theory. Can we use whiteboard for the explanation?
Whiteboard. I didn't get you actually.
Like on screen, if you can show us the
Oh,
balance theory.
showing. Oh, okay. Was balance theory, right? Here is balance theory. Yeah. Is it like haven't you got the clarity, or like you want me to explain with a
Means like Heidel's balance theory states like balanced and imbalanced, like two stages.
uh,
Like for example, like balanced state and imbalanced state. How and how and the criticism what he has got. What are the loopholes in this theory?
So that we then we have to go for each and every theory. I was actually like briefly explaining the theories because balance theory actually have a in-depth psychological part. That
Because Heidel's balance theory has stated a balance theory, the name. But he has a balanced state and imbalanced state in the
that will be there. That is the basic concept of Heide's balance theory. We call it POX model actually.
nature.
There is a triangulation. There is a triangle model that we use. Those things will be there in your material. So I was actually briefly explaining what is balance theory. So you will be understand when going through the materials.
Okay.
So basically, we can put it into like this. Share my screen. Can you see this photo, this image?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So here you can see that Hilda's balance theory, attitude, consistency. So here you can see that this is balanced. This, this person to this person, to this person to this person, to this person to this person. Everything is connected. It's having a proper consistency. But when you are hearing, when you look at here, these two aspects is positive and this aspect is negative. So to be more, for her more uh, clarity, like you able to see this image, the new one.
So we are still on the old page.
Uh, Now
Yes.
visible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here the other self object. Uh, Three things are there. Self, there is self, and there is the other thing. There will be object or other person. This connection should be in a congruent way. These two are imbalanced. These two things are imbalanced. Positive, or it should be negative. Got it. So that is the criticism of balance theory also, because it is not about uh, always having a consistency. That is the major criticism of balance theory, basically, because this there won't be any balance basically. That is the first criticism of Heidegger's balance theory. Because if there is balance, then that means it's dead, or it's the dynamic process is done. So there will be a constant imbalance, and the person will always strive to keep it balanced. But the moment the person kept it as a balanced, there will be some kind of information or some kind of whether it can be an external information or it can be an internal information like thoughts or anything, can question that balance, and suddenly again there will be an imbalance. So Heidegger's balance theory, we can take it as a, yeah, the process is happening. The process will always happen, continuously happen. But it is difficult to take that particular theory to predict particular behavior or something. Because still a person can hold a negative attitude and behave positively. Possible, right? We do it in our day-to-day life. We can, because like humans have the agency, humans have the potential to keep certain things inhibited. That, that's there. So that the human agency completely defies this balance theory, which humans can stay balanced even they are in imbalance. That's one thing. But cognitive dissonance is completely different thing. It's basically holding a belief. So it's something different. It's not talking about the balance. It's talking about the essence of the content or essence of the idea, the very soul of the idea or concept of the attitude towards it. Am I clear?
Yes.
So that is the theories that we have to cover. And another section with related associated with attitude is the measurements of attitude. And actually, no one added me to the WhatsApp group. So still, I don't have any kind of communication with you. And another one is I haven't received the new the new syllabus of yours. I'm still teaching with the older syllabus. Okay, so maybe you may miss some content that the syllabus that you are having. Because, the syllabus that I got, I think some contents are missing. That's why I understood from the last class. So if anyone have a new material, a new syllabus or something, you can please WhatsApp me. I have already shared my number as and mail. So I can add those updated things in the material. And so the final part of the attitude, measurements of attitude. So how we basically measure attitudes, how psychologists measure attitudes. Attitude can be measured using different kind of methods. Like we use like self-report measures are there, physiological measures, behavioral measures. There are a lot of measures there, but these are measures that we say as a general term, like self-report measures. Like we will give them a questionnaire or a survey, or we will do an interview or something. So it's like they reporting about themselves. That's what self-report. Um, Another one is like physiological thing that we overall look at their biological processes, their brain functioning, and how their body temperature or whatever, the skin conduction and everything is changed. This is one aspect that we can know the measure the attitude. Another one is behavioral measure. The behavioral measure basically go with the observation that we will observe by observing people. We know that this person is having this kind of attitude towards this thing, even it is not about us. We can talk about other person's attitude about something else, and we are not in that picture, but still we can talk about another person's attitude of something. That is through the behavioral measures. And then there will be this what implicit measure. It involves assessing attitudes that individuals may not be aware or willing to report. There will be indirect task or implicit association tests we use to measure attitudes, typically by measuring reaction times to stimuli associated with positive or negative valence. For the negative valence, there will be a delay in the reaction time, and for the positive things, the reaction time will be in the nominal state. But these are the general ways that we use, but we have standardized, not standardized, like statistically approved measurements. So one is Bogart's social distance scales. Bogards, Bogart's social distance scale. These things will be in your material. I'm just making you familiarize with this concept. Bogart's social distance scale. It's basically a self-report measure that that assess social distance or the degree of closeness or distance an individual feels toward a group of people. So basically, the scale asks individuals to rate how willing they would be to interact with members of a specific group in various situations. The scale often used to measure prejudice and discrimination. Bogart's social distance scale. So another one is Likert scales. That is very much highly used, widely used scale in psychology. So Likert scale is again, it's a kind of a self-report measure that asks individuals to rate. Basically, it's a rating scale to rate their level of agreement or disagreement with a series of statements on a scale. Typically, like most of the psychological scales are developed through Likert scale. So there will be like 1 strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree. So in between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 will be strongly disagree and 5 is strongly agree. So we will get that
Strongly agree.
range. Sorry?
Strongly agree, sir.
Yeah, strongly agree and strongly disagree. That it will be like a pole, bipolar, two extremes. Strongly disagree, one, and we don't always give 1 for strongly disagree and 5 for strongly agree. It depends on the nature of the scale. We decide all those things based on psychometry. The separate department of psychology to develop this kind of scales and measurements and assessments called it's called psychometry. So this is one Likert scale. Another one is Thurston scale. Thurston scales again. It involves presenting individuals with a set of statements about a topic and asking them to rate the degrees to which each statement reflects their attitude towards the topic. So basically, the scale they then use these statistical techniques to assign like there are different kind of statistical analysis to identify how like what are the that dynamics which is happening within the person. That is what Thurston scale use, but we rarely use because this basically uses in a social or political issues. Basically, we can say that poll thing. So, before the voting day or that we use that. We will ask people like who will win and kind of things. It's basically will give them a set of statement or arguments about a particular political party or a social movement or something. And then people will give their reflection, their idea about one Thurston scale. So we'll get a kind of how much they are like in agreement, level of agreement or disagreement towards a particular attitude. And another one is Osgood and Tenbaum's semantic differential scale. So again, this is like with the bipolar adjectives. This scale basically comes with a good, bad, like, dislike, valuable, worthless, and asking them to rate their attitude towards the topic being assessed by indicating where they fall on the continuum between the two adjectives. Like so, it is a very closed, very closed. Basically, here this is semantic differential scale. Semantic differential scale means semantic means meaning. The meaning of a word. That is semantic in the basic level. So how the person is differentiating based on the semantic meaning of a particular word, which hold a particular attitude. So based on the meaning only, we can create any kind of attitude. So meaning means again semantic. So based on the differential semantic approach, the person will be able to differentiate the words based on the meaning of the word. So these are the major scales that we use in social psychology. And this is it for today. Any questions? Any comments? Anything? We have 15 minutes more, and I have added some more materials in the Google Drive. Have fit not this one, till the previous one, socialization process. In the previous class, I have added the materials in the Google Drive and go through it, out or anything. We have 15 more. We'll be here. We can ask any questions or doubt or comment regarding this attitude, the whole class. I have shared my number in the chat box. Yes. And add me to your group. So if there is nothing to discuss or no discussion, no questions, nothing, then we can actually leave. Can we? Shall we wind up the class for today?
Sir, can you share that whatever that you preparing that means uh, PDF is there? Can you share,
That,
sir?
that's only I have shared the Google Drive link in the previous class. Can someone reshare that in the group? If anyone have that
Okay,
link, I have already shared the Google Drive link in the previous class. You can collect
okay,
it
sir.
from someone.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Sir, I shared PDF with you, sir.
Yeah, got it. Okay, thank you. So since we don't have any discussions, I think we can wind up for today.
The thing is like we have done the earlier classes like person perception.
I can't actually hear your voice. Can you now? Yeah. Hello? Hello? Okay. Okay, you can type in the chat box actually.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
How can we stop negative attitude against any race or any religion?
Can you repeat your questions again? I didn't understand actually. And
Just like Hitler done before 80 years, 80 years. How can we stop?
hello. I think your mic is muted. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
How can we stop any negative attitude rising by any dictator,
That
etc.?
is a big question actually.
Sir?
Because for years of hardship, many people are actually trying to do this only, but
Yes, sir.
and unfortunately, things are happening in the other way. But
Yes, sir.
all people who
we
belongs to
saw we
all.
saw the Hitler story, sir.
Uh-huh.
We heard the Hitler story. He did it for almost 20 or 25 years. Nobody didn't stop that, sir. Didn't stop that.
Yeah. Because like it's difficult because like everyone, the people who works in academics, people who works in research, or people who works in different jobs or different positions, everyone is trying to do something better to the society, but unfortunately there will be some practices always that
Sir.
will regress the society back. But we have to
Sir,
fight with our knowledge. Yeah.
yes, sir. We have to live on destiny, sir. That's all.
Yeah. Sorry.
We have to leave it on destiny, sir. That's all.
No, we can't give it to destiny. No, if we have leave it to destiny, then we haven't reached till now. We have everything because people didn't. Humans did. We have
Okay.
this laptop, we have a bed, we have clothes. So
Sir, sir.
if we have given everything to destiny, we won't have this all. Humans did.
Okay.
So we have. So we will do. So the next generation will have something.
Great, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
By understanding these social psychological processes, we will be able to identify why those things are happening instead of purely judging things or blaming things or excluding things. We will be thinking somewhat differently from a layman and day-to-day a normal person who lives with their who lives for their life survival, because they don't have time to think about this psychological process of social behavior and everything. But when we learn this kind of things, when we study this kind of processes, psychological processes, we should be able to have a kind of ability like a non-judgmental, that we understand all these psychological processes, social psychological processes in depth. We won't find a point to blame. We won't be able to blame anything or anyone because everything is connected. So there is a thing that we say that victim and the predator is the byproduct of society. Both exist in the same society, but unfortunately, one person become a victim, the other person become a predator. But is that person intent to be a predator when that person born? No. Or the person intend to become a victim when that person born? No. So what happened in between? No one born as a criminal or an antisocial. What is actually happening? So where is the problem? When we look into that, we see that it's not the individual. It's not only the individual. Obviously, the individual also have a certain responsibility. But there are certain things that an individual can't change anything. Certain social cultural pressures or social cultural norms that pressure a particular person to behave in a particular way. So what we can do is to change such social practices, social evil practices. So the people won't have that pressure. So they won't behave in such a way to harm the society and other human beings. So by learning these kind of psychological processes, I think someone's phone is open, someone's mic is open. That's there. When next time when anyone of us encounter any kind of social issue, by social thing, like social, not only issue, a social behavior, try to analyze with the non-judgmental. Like we have to remove all our personal attitudes. We have to look it as a psychologist because we are not understanding those social behaviors through our personal experience. We are understanding those social behavior through the knowledge that we got from a discipline that called psychology, not from our personal. I am not taking this concept of attitudes from my personal experience. This is something which have rigorously studied for years and came up with the empirical proof or scientific proof or social impact. So these are knowledge systems that we can exercise to change the society. These are not from anyone's personal experience. So we don't do any kind of psychological analysis with our personal experience or personal knowledge or personal attitude or personal dislikes or likes. Whether I am a theist or atheist or I am the person belongs to this particular political party or that political party, it doesn't matter. You are a psychologist. You are bounded or you are bounded. Your boundary is set by psychology. You are a psychologist. You are not the other person. So you can only use psychological theories and psychological concepts and psychological methods, which is examined through many processes uh, that won't make any kind of harm to the society and which only provide a positive growth to the society. So, if you encounter any kind of social process, you can use these kind of theories and concepts to analyze why it is happening in that way. Why? This is the one upper hand of knowing social psychology. So, and especially the attitudes, the concept of attitudes and theories of attitudes. We will be able to manipulate certain unhealthy practices in the situation and replace with the healthy practices. We will have the tool. So the only thing you should know is how to practice ethically and with the proper protocol. So that's it for today, and we will meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the information, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.